Hello students. Today's lecture we will discuss about the type of biodiversity. In previous lecture we are study the definition of ecology, then concept of syncology and ecology, then biodiversity, then types of diversity like alpha, beta and gamma diversity, as well as the vegetation sampling methods like quadrat methods. In quadrats methods there are the different types, and these types are studied in a previous lecture. Now let's start the types of diversity. Firstly, the definition of biodiversity. The biodiversity is the variety and variability of life on a earth, and biodiversity is the typically a measures of variations at the genetic, species and ecosystem levels. So, first one is the genetic diversity. Firstly, genetic diversity means the variations of all living forms at the genetic levels, like genes, alleles, or nucleic acids. Then the variations of amount of genetic informations within an individual of populations, a species or a community, and the it can be also known as or defined as the total number of genetic characters in a genetic makeup of species. This is called as the genetic diversity. Then nature and origin of genetic variations. The genetic variation is measures of the genetic differences that exist within a populations, and the genetic variations of an entire species is called as the genetic diversity. And these genetic variations are differences in DNA segments or genes between individual, and each variations of genes is called as the alleles. So genes, a gene is the stretch of DNA whose sequence determines the structure and function of specific functional molecules. Then this snapshot is the structures of DNA and the proteins. And the genetic variation is caused mainly due to mutations, random mating between organisms, random fertilizations, crossing over between chromatids of homologous chromosomes during the meiosis. So, this is the genetic diversity. Then, species diversity. The species diversity is defined as the number of species and abundance of each species that live in a particular locations. Means number of species are grow out or found in a specific area or particular locations, and this is called as a species diversity. Then origins of species diversity. The fossils records not only provided us the necessary background for analyzing the history of diversity, uh, the there are the but also it clues to the origins of diversity, and it also provided enough informations to understand the ancient biodiversity in terms of taxonomic richness, particularly high taxonomic levels. The fossils diversity is basically measured from family or genetic diversity, and rather than the actual species diversity. The diversity indices. A diversity index is a mathematically measure of species diversity in a given community. The area with highest number of species is considered as highly diverse the area. There are the two types of indices: dominance indices and information statistic indices. The dominant indices are weighted toward the abundance of commonest or the common species, and a widely used dominance index is the Simpson's diversity index. Then information statistic indices. The information statistic indices can take into account the rate of species in community. The information statistics indices are based on rational that diversity in a natural systems can be measured. So these are the species diversity. Now the ecosystem diversity. The ecosystem diversity is defined as the variety of different ecosystem within an area, or any ecosystem is the biological environment consisting of all living organisms or biotic components in a particular area. And in non-living means biotic is the living organisms, and uh, biotic components or living organisms, as well as non-living organisms or abiotic components. The abiotic components like air, soil, water, sunlight, which are the organisms are entrapped. So ecosystems are divided into two factors: biotic factors and abiotic factors. Biotic factors including living organisms, and abiotic factors are uh, uh, including non-living organisms. The biotic like sunlight, temperatures, precipitation, water or moistures, then soil chemicals and soil or chemicals in a contents. And abiotic is the primary producer: herbivores, carnivores, omnivores and detrivores. Types of ecosystems. There are two types of ecosystems: natural ecosystems and artificial ecosystems. And in natural ecosystems, ecosystems are also divided into four types of ecosystem, like forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, aquatic ecosystems and desert ecosystems. As well as the artificial ecosystems are terrestrial, microbial ecosystems and aquatic ecosystem. So first one is the forest ecosystems. The rain the terms the forest ecosystems, or this is the rainforest or tropical moist forest, and there are the found in between tropical regions. Then it is a large number of organisms and flora. Then the stability of ecosystem is very sensitive. And types of forest. There are various type of forests, like tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, temperate evergreen forest, temperate deciduous forest and taiga. Then grassland ecosystems. The grassland These are the grassland ecosystems. The grassland ecosystem form natural vegetations on the land surface of earth. These form the open type of vegetations, and this grassland ecosystem is dominated by grass and grass-like species, and these are found in South Africa, then Australia. Then types of grassland ecosystems. There are the tropical grassland, temperate grassland and aquatic ecosystems. The aquatic ecosystems are in the low temperatures, as well as in a low sunlight. Then flora and fauna had adapted. And the types of aquatic ecosystem is the ocean, lotic, lentic and wetland. The wetlands are against freshwater wetlands, or these freshwater wetland means only small amount of water occurs in soil, and freshwater wetlands, this includes in the sphagnum, mosses and some species from western ghats. uh, so these are the introductions to ecology. Our In introductions to ecology, we are covered the various point, like definitions, then term of ecology, syncology, then types of biological diversity, then methods of vegetation sampling, then types of biodiversity like genetic diversity, their types, then species diversity, their origin as well as types and ecosystem diversity. Okay, thank you.